Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this live episode of the Around the Ropes podcast right here on the new ATR Network. You guys know where you can find us. We're on all social media accounts. Just search either Around the Ropes podcast or the new ATR Network, and you can find anything related to the show. As guys, you guys know, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. And as always, let me introduce you my tag team partner for this evening. He is the voice of several companies. You heard him this past weekend on the call for Reality Fighting up in Mohegan Sun Arena, which we'll get to that in a second here. February 18th, you'll hear him on the call for Creative Pro as they return to Lynbrook, New York for Top Guys Only.
Sorry, John.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Also, if you need an ODA minister, he comes with that as well. The one, the only, Sexy Ryan himself. What's going on?
No me see. How you doing, folks? Welcome to another rendition of the Around the Ropes podcast here on the new ATR Network. As John said, I'm the voice of numerous wrestling promotions. Although for a while, apparently I'm only good enough for hot sauce challenges in this guy's eye. But it's okay. I let it slide.
We actually have a comment right now.
That was fast.
And it's from your buddy,
Zubin.
And actually, Ryan, minor change of plans here.
What now?
How about the guest is here already?
Oh, I'm gonna let you introduce our guest.
Guys, a little bit of a change here, but that's what we always love doing here.
Card subject to change.
Huh?
Card subject to change.
Exactly. But guys, if you watch Immortal Championship Wrestling, you have seen our guest do the backstage interviews. You have seen her do a lot. She's also the host of Inside ICW, which we'll get into that in a second. The one, the only, Mariah Kamomsli. Mariah, how you doing?
Hey guys. As your host, I gotta come in. I gotta surprise you all. You know what my show is all about. I catch everyone off guard. So I gotta catch you guys off guard. It's only fair.
Hey, the earlier the better. I like that, actually.
But how have you been?
I've been good, waiting for some more Mortal Wrestling to start back up again. February 10th. It's a dry couple of months. It's a little rough not going there, and obviously terrorizing the talent as I do backstage with my interviews. Some of them were even running away last time because they didn't want to have to deal with it. But we still got a bunch of Inside ICW videos that haven't been uploaded. I know my Trevor Terry one is one of the best. He was definitely not ready for me. It was pretty cool.
Right.
So I have to ask, what made you want to go into Immortal? Tell us your journey, your first steps into Immortal Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, so first out, I reached out to Mike King, which is the owner. Awesome guy. I've always wanted to have a career in professional wrestling, and I never really knew how to start. Been to a couple of shows before, and I was like, hey, I have a degree in communication. I didn't really know how to use it at the time, and I really wanted to get into the business. And he was like, well, we're looking for a commentator at the moment. So my first couple of shows, I commentated, and then after being there and getting this relationship with a bunch of the talent, he ended up asking if I wanted to have the show backstage. It was Inside ICW because they did have the normal commentators, but we were just getting off the pandemic and everything, and a lot of them couldn't do all the shows when we first came back. So I stepped in the role and stepped up for these guys, and now I have my own permanent role, and it's pretty cool. I just love being around wrestlers. It's an environment you can't explain to anyone else unless they're in it.
So as John disappeared for a hot second, I'll take over. So can you describe your debut in Immortal, what was going through your mind? Because you said you did commentary, right?
Yeah, so I did commentary for the full first year I was there. So all the 2021 shows, the 2022 shows.
Okay.
And it was the first show. It was really weird because I had messaged Mike and I didn't know what time I was supposed to show up for shows. So I was like, what time do you want me there? And he's like, well, we're going to start setting up. I got there about 7 hours early.
Oh, God.
Wrestlers, because I was like, I don't really know what they're going to think. Well, I'm just this new person coming in. And then after I figured out that, like, all these guys are cool. Like, they want their matches to come off as best as humanly possible. So once I got adjusted to them being like, you have your tall, scary guys, but behind the scenes, they're the nicest ones. And it's funny because you'll see them go out there and choke slam and flip off the crowd. And then they get behind the curtain. They're like, that was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And you never see that side of them, which, like, it's cool for me to be able to see it. I wish some of the fans can get like a better backstage view of these guys, but obviously you don't want to hurt their characters. So
also, I'm not gonna lie, I think some of them don't deserve to go backstage. I'm being straightforward. So now I want to kind of fast forward into talking about this this new series. What is it? What's the name of the series again? Something ICW?
It's Inside ICW.
So how did that concept come into play?
So at the time we had our main commentators back, and there wasn't really a spot for me at the desk, and I went to Mike King and Chip, and I was like, hey, I want to do something. I've been here for almost 3 years at this point. We need to do something backstage, or let me at least interview and get my feet into something else. And he was like, well, what if we did this like Jerry Springer type show? And this was all Chip's like great mind. And I work awake nights. Shout
out to Chip Stetson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I work awake nights. I come off of a shift, try to sleep for 2 hours, and then drive to these shows. And I wake up and my phone is blown up from Chip. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, I overslept. Something's wrong. And he's like, I'm going to give you this idea of this show. And it's all these voice messages and text messages. And he's like, I want you to dig into these characters and get as mean as you can. Make a great character. And that is the funnest thing to do, because I'm backstage like, how can I piss you off just enough that you will curse at me, but not enough to where we can't upload the video?
Especially, with John's favorite wrestler of all time, Garrett Holiday.
Yeah, the Garrett one was very interesting. There were some jabs in there that could not be uploaded. There were some things that had to be edited out, or I asked prior, like, it's okay if I poke these subjects, and he was like, yeah, let's not do those. So for respect for him, I won't mention those couple things, but yeah, that was one of the ones that I had the questions and I went a little too far with, but I had to reel myself back in.
Listen, if it's him being an orange Oompa Loompa, everyone in the fucking locker room knew about that already. It's no secret.
Yeah. I mean, I
think everybody in Westmoreland, in their mind, was thinking to themselves, wait, is Garrett Holiday promoting the new Wonka movie coming out next month? Like, what the hell is going on here?
No, that's going to be Saren. He's the Willy Wonka man.
Oh, God.
That was the one that made him crack, which those videos are a little stuck in transit right now. There's some stuff going on with them, but I did do one with Edge of Hope, which they are the best group of people to ever work with. Saren is the nicest guy you could ever imagine. His character and how he comes off is the best to interview. And
but then when you get a chance to sit with him and talk with him, dude, it's like a completely different, like,
God, yeah. And the interview got so intense that he grabbed me originally, and like he grabbed the collar of one of these and started shaking me, and then he like instantly cut. He was like, oh, I didn't even ask. And I'm like, I don't care, dude. Like, you're giving me your character. Throw me around backstage. Throw things at me. If you've watched my interviews with him progress, he's gotten more and more physical with me, which is a really cool thing to work off of, because we're starting to get to this point where maybe we can get an interview where we throw hands or something else can get thrown, or a title could change. And it's kind of cool to see us progress towards a rivalry just in an interview setting. Not to
mention, not to mention also, a little pull back the curtains and you talk about behind the scenes, people that are the nicest people out there, who are actually John's favorite wrestlers in Immortal Championship Wrestling. And that is Bin Hameen and Blaze Haram, the sons of Allah. Every time they come out of the curtain, you see him standing in the corner going, Allahu Akbar! Praise to sons of Allah!
Ryan!
Which, by the way, Mariah, did you know that he was upset back at the Cobble Skill show in July when Ben lost the title?
Oh, you were upset with that?
Oh yeah, he was crying in the corner on the fetal position, going, "Allahu Akbar, why? No,
Ryan,
Garrett Holiday,
Ryan,
this champion."
Do me a favor. Come up with new material already.
I'll come up with new material when you actually grow a foot taller. Now back to Mariah. So this is the type of fun that we do here on the Around the Rose podcast, Mariah. Just so
it's all good. I mean, I saw that John had a pretty big announcement earlier this week with the podcast that you guys are going to be in Philly for Mania.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome to hear you guys do that.
And also, I'll be working a couple of events. Just I'm not one of them. I can actually no, I'm not announcing them just yet. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I got this year. I'm just working with Immortal. I've reached out to a couple companies, and hopefully someone else would like to take me on so I can bring the atmosphere that I do for their locker room. Because I love to see everyone behind the scenes and how they do their stuff, but also give everyone the time of the day, because there's a lot of guys back there that we may only see them in the ring for 2-3 minutes. Like Richie the Madman's one of the guys who he puts his heart and soul backstage, and lately he's kind of been on pre-show. And if you're not there early, you're missing him. And he's a fantastic talent. And Jeff Nova's one of them. And the Stomper Bros are another one. And I mean, thankfully, a lot of them with the 24/7 belt, we've been able to advertise them a little bit more with Immortal. But there's a lot of guys that just don't get as much time in the ring that I wish they did, so we can still talk about them, how great that they are.
Which, by the way, whoever the 24/7 champion is now, they better watch their backs, because I'm coming for that belt.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think anyone can win it. I mean, we saw Suit Guy win it, for, Christ's sakes. I mean, if Suit Guy can do it, I can do it.
True.
I think it's time for another woman to step up and get the 24/7 belt.
Great.
And I'm going to take anyone on, because I want that belt.
Well, if you do that, can you please take Jon and you know what?
Well, then he's got to come after me for the belt, and then it's hands-on. At that point, it's fair game.
Jon, you heard the challenge.
Ryan, I got a question to ask you.
I'm sorry. No. I'm not the person being interviewed. Mariah is.
Yeah, no, I have a question.
How your own show works.
Hey, I mean, you guys do your own thing.
Jon, did you just mute Mariah?
No, I didn't.
You sure about that? Mariah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
I didn't touch anything.
So anyway, while we're waiting on Mariah to get her sound back, Jon, while you again, I took over the.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
There you go. Yeah, I figured for some reason my phone just connected like completely off of the sound on here for some reason. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you're good. You're good, but
So Jon, now you can ask your questions.
Well, you mentioned before about Richie the Madman. The one thing we saw big in 2023 when it came to Immortal was and I hate to put it as the pre-show feud, but it became the pre-show feud with Team UWE versus the Regulators. How did you think, as a fan, what did you think about that whole feud and rivalry?
I felt like, as a fan, I wish that the talent had their own time. The Regulators should have had their own chance to go after Edge of Hope. We shouldn't have brought in all these extra people. I would rather see them go for the tag belts. They've been with the company so long, they earn it. I mean, UWE's great up-and-coming promotion. They train their guys, and I'm happy to see them there. I wish they could have stayed on the opener, and they could have had rivalries within themselves. It's definitely cool to see Immortal versus another company. But unless we go to UWE, who is going to be starting to do their own shows, is everything that we set for really helping the Immortal guys. Because at this point, we just helped UWE out. We put them on our show. We gave them time. We took away from the talent that have been there for years and years, putting in the hard work. So now I think it's time for Immortal to go and crash one of their shows.
I could definitely see that happening, especially with the relationship that Immortal has with UWA.
Yeah, I mean the Stomper Bros are amazing new talent. I would like to see them go after the tag belts. I mean, obviously right now our tag belts are up in the air. We don't have a champion after how everything went down on our last show. But it would be nice to see them come up the ranks a little bit. And obviously we have Brother Jonas as a 24/7 champion, who I think at this time 6 or 7 time champion. He's definitely came out with the belts and attacked at
He's
24/7.
basically the R-Truth of ICW pretty much at this point.
In a way, he is. It would be nicer to see him dig a little bit more into an R-Truth character and kind of like interrupt matches. I think that would be kind of a funny thing or a fun thing to add to the shows for sure. But
I was gonna say if we're gonna do that, he should become an honorary member of Edge of Hope.
I was thinking the same thing too.
why not? I mean, you gotta get that full rainbow hippie gear on and just walk out Edge of Hope. Just straight face, say nothing. I mean, when Edge of Hope has all the belts again, and then Brother Jonas comes out with them, it would just make sense. And then Edge of Hope will just rule Immortal, and Brother Jonas can be the bright side of Edge of Hope that they just don't want to deal with. It would be amazing.
I've said that. I've even said it to him that he's becoming the R-Truth of Immortal, just because the videos he puts out is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
He's one of those guys that stepped into a role that was bigger than he needed to, and he has fulfilled it and has went above and beyond with this role. Because when I think of Immortal now, one of the top names I think of is Brother Jonas. And he wasn't an original Immortal guy. He was a UWE guy. And he's came in and showed everyone that with putting in enough effort, you can be one of the big names of Immortal.
Well, that's the way I look at it. Is I saw it at the Westmoreland show when the crowd started chanting Brother Jonas, and I seen it in clips with other shows. And I'm like, this guy has the fans at the palm of his hands.
He definitely does, and you got to think he's newer into the business too. He's someone that got into the business a little bit later in life, but he's taken it by storm, and he's mastered how to get everyone to want to watch everything he does, which I think a lot of talent have problems figuring out. The biggest one I can think of right off the bat was obviously Shane. Him and Shane have that power to just control the crowd in a way that not a lot of other talent have. And I think it would be awesome. Maybe have a rivalry in between those two too. Have the funny, goofy guy versus the beyond serious man.
And by the way, folks, that's Shane Stetson, not Steven Stetson.
Yeah, Shane is he's a special one. If anyone has seen his recent matches, he's grown into his own person, winning his last couple matches. He hasn't taken a pinfall yet after beating his father Chip, and he's definitely became the biggest heel that we have.
Yeah, all right. I've said it for a while. When you think of top heels, especially in the Northeast, or not even just the Northeast, in the New York area,
in the Albany region.
Albany region, probably the best way to put it. The top 3 that come to mind to me are Ben, Blaze, and Shane.
Yeah, I mean, Shane is stepping into those shoes. So when we do have to, I mean, you got to think we have a couple guys that are getting older, and we may have some retirements coming up in the next couple of years. And we have these young guys like Shane, like Richie, like Jeff, like Chris, and they're all stepping their way into these roles of being heels and faces. And these are going to be the guys that you see 3, 4, 5 years from now in Immortal.
It's weird to think that I agree with you. I think those are the guys who are going to be the future of this company. And they're going to be that next crop of people. But I also think, you got other guys in there who, I mean, a great example, another match we know that's happening February 10th is Garrett Holiday versus Bill Collier.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I think, the one thing I'll say, apparently Ryan got a thumbs up for that one.
Yeah.
I've been loving this run that Garrett Holiday has been on with the title.
even though you didn't call him in the top 3 of the opening region, but
I bet that was top 3 heels. Garrett Holiday's not a heel.
He did say heels. Yeah, he did say heels. He didn't say face.
Well, he is a heel to you because every time he sees you, he flips you off.
Mariah, the story with that was at the show in Rome back in April of last year. The night before, Ryan had done Invictus Pro Wrestling,
and Brute Van Slyke and Garrett Holiday were on the card. So I saw Garrett and I said to him, "Hey, my co-host John Blaine, he's gonna be there tomorrow. Can you do me a favor? Can you flip him off for me?" Not thinking that he was actually gonna go for it. And boy, so he goes up to John. And he's like, "Hey, by the way, John, I was told this is for you."
Garrett remembers just about everything, which is it's a great thing to have, but also you got to be careful because he will use that, especially against me in the interviews, which is great because he'll pull things back from 2-3 shows ago that I forgot. And he goes back and he listens to the commentary on his matches too, and he'll come to me. He'll be like, "Hey, you screwed up this one," or "You did really good on this spot." But he's really into helping everyone with the business, not just for himself. And I'm glad that he won the championship because now he has a big role inside Immortal. And it's not just the champion. He's the head of the locker room now. So if you need anything, you go to him, and he has to be able to provide the knowledge and the experience to the young guys and people like, me and the commentators. And he has this big role, and Immortal is placed on his back for the first time, and he now needs to live up to that. And going up against someone like Bill, who was our champion, he didn't stay champion for long. He ended up forfeiting the belt. Now he has to come back with someone who never technically dropped the belt and face him, who is coming back to Immortal and now wants his spot. He wants to be the head of the locker room. He wants to take over and show everyone I'm the big guy, and Garrett's in his shoes.
I couldn't agree more. The only thing that people should not ask him for is tanning options.
Yeah, he's learning the tan. He's learning at it. He's a little new to that.
Garrett, if you're watching this, just Google how to properly self-tan yourself.
But the part I still laugh at, and Ryan, you're gonna call me an egotistical maniac for what I'm about to say.
I know exactly what it is, and Mariah was in the meeting when that shit happened, by the way.
Yeah, I'm in all the production meetings, so
when the moment came of Collier coming out, facing Garrett Holiday at the end of the last show at Westmoreland, I told John that, and of course, Mr. One Trick Pony who cares about himself over here, decided to say, "You know why they started that, right? Because Big Bill Collier came on here and challenged Garrett Holiday for the ICW title. So I guess I can say we started that feud."
I mean, hey, everyone's been wanting to see it happen. So maybe it could have been started on the podcast, but there's also a lot of history on Immortal too. And there's a lot of guys that you notice that come in and out throughout the time. We'll have them for a couple months and then they leave. Mike Skyros is another huge case of that, where he was someone we had for 2 years and then he vanished for a while and we brought him back. So to see them come back, I think they know their place. When they return to Immortal, they know they need to be the top dog, and they left being the top dog and they just gave the belt away. And I think Bill Colliner realized that I kind of screwed up with that. I walked away from an amazing company, and I think it's time for me to go back and reclaim my throne.
Well, I know another guy, we brought up Bill Collier. Another guy I want to see back in Immortal is Spencer Slade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff I seen, I just actually literally, kid you not, before we went live tonight, I was going through Facebook and I was going through videos, and there was a video he posted. I forgot who he took on, but it was a guy. It was I think the name was Pharaoh. That name rings a bell.
I haven't heard of a Pharaoh around here, but
I think he's an indie wrestler in the down south, but he's big. And Spencer went to go do a German suplex on him and made it look like it was nothing.
Yeah, there's some of these technicians that they can do that, and it's really it's incredible to see, especially when you're the one voicing the match. Because there was our show Halloween Havoc 4. I did double duty that night, which not a lot of people know or will know, but now that I'm talking about it, if you watch this, I walked into thinking I was just going to be the backstage interviewer, to being told I'm on commentary. And then I was going to be solo on commentary. And then Dimitri came in to help out. And it was one of those shows where I pulled double duty, but that show in and out of itself had two of the best matches Immortal had the entire year. And I'm so proud of that show because it was the commentating team was put together last minute. The behind the scene things were put together last minute, but the performers didn't care. They went on, they did everything they needed to do, and they gave us the easiest night of our life by putting on the best matches. And that Edge of Hope match is match of the year.
Well, I thought of another person since John's talking about people coming back. I remember my first Immortal show, which was back in 2019. There was one match that I actually want to see round 2 on. It was Garrett Holiday versus some guy named JT Dunn.
I have not seen or worked with him before. He's
JT Dunn is more of a New England type guy. Like he does Chaotic, Wrestling Open, Beyond, Limitless. And yeah, this was back like 5-6 years ago. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so some of these guys you only end up seeing once, then you gotta track them down through other companies, and that's the crazy thing. Because you think, as a wrestling fan, when I first got into this, learning about WWE, it was, oh, that's the only thing there is. Like when I first found wrestling, I'm like, oh, it's just WWE. And then I saw these posters for back when it was only Dynasty, before there wasn't an Immortal, and I was like, well, there's wrestling coming to Amsterdam. And then seeing that show, and now obviously we have Dynasty and Immortal split, but now knowing that you have so many other options out there, like you don't have to pay that $60, $70 WWE ticket. You can spend that on 3 indie shows and get just as great of an experience. And I wish more people knew about indie wrestling still.
And believe me, I say that weekly on the show, that if you have the opportunity to go to an independent show, go to it, because not only are you going to get a fantastic experience, you're going to see guys who you might see on WWE or AEW in the next 5-10 years. And then if you happen to see them at a convention, they'll sit there and go, oh, wait, I remember you from da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Joel is one of the big ones. He's in AEW, and we have him. And that is one of the coolest things. Like, every single time I work, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I work with AEW talent. Like, it's so crazy to think of that mindset, that you watch AEW every week, and you would never think that those kind of talent will come to these little shows, and they do. And they put over these guys, and that's where all these big talent come from. It's not like they just pop up in WWE and they've never wrestled before. You got to find these guys and then follow them and make friendship with them, because then you find out all these amazing talent.
Let's not forget about Heath. Hey man. Hey, he
had kids. He needed that gig.
Hey man, I got kids. Hey man.
Listen, there is one thing backstage I wish we could have done. During that show in that arena, it is in a soccer field, which was the last show they were in, which was in Westmoreland, and he really wanted to use those soccer nets.
Yes, I remember that.
The commissioner was a no-go on it, and
it wasn't even the commissioner.
I know he fought for it really hard.
Was the building owners. Because the building owners decided to apparently think that indoor soccer is way more important than wrestling, even though they knew about it for months.
Yeah, no, I think that was really cool that he immediately wanted to use the soccer nets and stuff, and that
would have been perfect.
But yeah, he was really big on. He's one of those talents that came in. He talked to everyone in the locker room. He took the time, sat with every single person back there, and was like, "What do you do? What match do you have tonight? What do you think you need help on? What do you think you're like a pro at? And he sat there at the monitor and watched every match. And he really cared to be there and help the company out, which I was extremely impressed by.
And he's an awesome dude, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He signed stuff for like everyone, and some people didn't even ask. He was just like, here you go.
But then I know on the show on February 10th, there will be a return and a debut as far as big-time talent. Cowboy James Storm is going to be there.
Yep.
And also Ricardo Rodriguez, which they also announced
Is doing
yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yep.
That he will be doing a seminar right before the show.
Yeah, I was kind of more surprised that they did it more as a wrestling seminar. I thought it would be kind of cool to have it for the ring announcers and the commentating crew, because you got to remember, he was Alberto Del Rio's ring caddy for the longest time. And he also helped commentate in NXT for a little bit before he was the masked wrestler that he was. So I think it would have been actually really cool to see him talk manager-wise. Like, how to be a great manager. Because he's one of those guys that did both. He wrestled and managed. And a lot of people remember him way more as a manager than a wrestler. So it would have been kind of cool to see that, other than like an in-ring thing. But I'm sure he'll have the wisdom for everyone backstage when we get there.
Oh.
Which Mariah, I will not be there for that show.
Hey, it's all good. I'll be there. That's all anyone cares for, is I will be there. I'll be backstage. I'll be making the Inside ICW videos. It's all good.
Hey, Maron.
I'll be there.
I got to deal with one egomaniac on the screen, and I got to deal with another one. Jesus Christ.
Have you watched Inside ICW? Like, honestly, have you watched an interview?
No.
Well, see, then you don't understand. The whole point is
I've seen you, but I was there back in November when you were filming that shit.
Oh, I filmed it in November and September and all. Like, there are videos going back months that haven't been uploaded.
Well, I'm sorry if I was actually doing my job as an announcer that night. Because you know, unlike some people who think otherwise, I'm an actual ring announcer.
I put you over.
Hey, give him a chance. I'm sure there's a company that will take you as a ring announcer.
I do it all.
Well, this is John's time to show you up now. Have him find a company, have him ring announce.
Well, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. Apparently, in his eyes, considering I've been, on global pay-per-view, been traveling worldwide, apparently my only claim to fame in his eyes is announcing a really shitty one-chip challenge between him and a former co-host of ours in front of nobody.
Hey, to him, that is what he views as your biggest accomplishment. Clearly, nothing.
Why does no one take my side on this shit? Seriously.
Hey, listen,
is it because I'm too tall for people? Like, what the fuck?
No, man.
Yeah, but Ryan, you also have to forget. Who did I get chopped by that night?
You take chops from everyone.
Mariah actually did get a chop that night.
He did, actually, from Marina Shafir.
Oh, I don't know. If you could take a chop from Ben, though, then
$5 face slap.
It's a $5 face slap on sale for $20. You gotta get it right. And the thing is, he makes so much money off of that. Because it's all in your head when you hear it's on sale, that I don't think people actually process that you're paying more.
Here's the funny part. Every person we've had on who's been on from Immortal have all said the same thing about me with the $5 face slap.
You gotta do it.
I'm like, I'm good. Ben likes me. I'm good.
Hey, me and Ben are cool. He jokes that I'm one of his wives, okay? Like, there's going to be one of these days where everyone has to take a slap from Ben. It's got to be an honorary thing.
Yeah, John.
Okay, right. I'll put it out there right now. I'll take a slap from Ben when you take a bump in the ring.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
See, it would be best. All you need is Ben in the ring. He can push you down and then slap him. Boom. We're done. And then Ben can have fun with both of y'all.
No, I just thought of that afterwards he could play the Benny Hill music. But I want to
Mariah, his mindset is still like 11 years old. Just saying.
I also want to look ahead though at the upcoming year with Immortal, because there's a lot of big things coming this year, especially the show in March.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be the debut in Dwaynesburg.
Yep.
And it'll be Ryan, I think 2 Fashion Police people will be there.
Yeah, my as I like to say, my old time friend Fandango is making his return, and I am so excited. He is the nicest guy I've ever worked with, and I love when he is there. For the second show I worked, he remembered my name, and that shocked me because these talent, they don't really need to care for you because they're just doing an indie show, and he cares. And we're getting Tyler Breeze, who is a guy who stated he was going to retire, didn't wrestle for the longest time, and now is making his return to in-ring action. And we can thank Xavier Woods and Fandango for that, a heavy role. I'm very excited for Fashion Police.
Some people will be excited to see them because, some of them are begging for them to arrest them.
I mean, obviously, Billy would like that to happen. And Fandango does have these nice abs and beautiful dance moves for all the ladies in the front row, or men, whoever decides to enjoy them.
Shut up, Ryan.
Listen, it's okay, Ryan. It's okay to admit that Fandango's dancing is what you're looking forward to the most in March. It's okay to admit that. I mean, he could have been in Magic Mike 4, clearly.
Actually,
I mean, Sebastian Braun wishes, but
I just thought of something.
I thought I smelled something burning.
If you're ring announcing, Ryan, on March 16th.
Mike, if you're listening, I'm free. Just saying.
You should do the Fashion Police dance with them.
Fuck, I'm trying to remember what the Fashion Police dance was.
Man. I think the Fashion Police also needs to come out with their tickets that they used to hand out for everyone in the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people will be getting those tickets. You've seen some of the way they dress and come to these shows.
They don't need tickets. They need ticket books because there'll be so many tickets just for one person.
I think Shane Stenson's just going to need his own book for himself with the shower curtain that he wears to the ring. He's going to need just that.
That's John's favorite wrestler. Don't make fun of it. Don't make fun of him. Even though John gets his name wrong, but it's his favorite wrestler.
I did that one time, dude.
And he'll never let it forget. He'll never forget it.
I can say as someone that has to remember their ring names and their actual names, it can get you sometimes. The first time I commentated a match for Fandango, I called him that a couple times, and in the indies he's just called Dongo and not Fandango, and I had to correct myself over and over again. And it's one of those things that you recognize someone by one name, but then you got to realize that when you're calling it, it's a whole different name and a whole different person.
So anyway, my final question for you, Miss Mariah, what are you looking forward to next month at St. Johnsville?
I'm looking forward to just being back with everyone. Honestly, if you've never been to a wrestling show, it is a feeling that no one can replace. It is a sense of family that I never knew that I wanted outside of my own. It is a sense of being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, because all these go up on live pay-per-view afterwards.
Let's not forget the catering.
I can't wait to see everyone, honestly.
Let's not forget the catering, Mariah.
Yeah, the catering's good. Catering's good. Honestly, I get so nervous before my Inside ICW, writing down these things that I'm going to jab people with, that I honestly forget to eat until like midway through the show. By the time I get there, half the food's gone.
I'm the same way too. Usually I never eat before I announce a show because if nerves and whatnot. Yes, I've been doing this for 12 years, but still I get nerves from time to time.
Yeah. It's gonna be, it just feels good to be back home in a sense. To know that now every month to November, I'm coming into this, I'm doing my thing every month, And that's the one thing no one can ever take away from me, is that I'm a part of Immortal Championship Wrestling, and I am proud of it. And I tell everyone when they ask me what I do for a living, first thing I say is I'm a backstage host for Immortal Championship Wrestling. Because that is who I am, and that is what I am proud to do. And that's what I look forward to. Just being by Dimitri and those Dippin' Donuts. You got the guys. I mean, we have Sons of Allah that's going to be there. Edge of Hope is going to be there. Trevor Terry, who is just tearing it up. Nicest dude, and I wish nothing but the biggest success to him. He is amazing. Garrett Holiday is going to have a title defense. Bill Collider is going to be there. James Storm, who we haven't seen in a while, is going to be there. It's going to be a great show.
I'm looking forward to getting back up there again. I've kind of had my immortal withdrawal, so to speak.
These 2 months, man, it's harsh. There's like no wrestling in December and January. It's a dry month, and once I feel like the Royal Rumble kicks up, so does indie shows too. It's kind of like Royal Rumble's like that big kick of like, all right, we're starting the new year. Let's go. Let's get everything into motion.
Yeah, oh no, I completely agree with, and it's going to be fun. And my last question actually for you is this. Mortal's doing a show in August, I think, and they're not doing it on a Saturday.
They're doing it on Tuesday, which is, it's really cool. I'm a little scared about the turnout because it is on a Tuesday. I mean, they're only going up against NXT, to be fair. But you got to think, it's in the middle of summer, so kids do have the day off, but it's going to be more people. Can they get it off from work? Can they show up in time? And I'm really hoping that we have a fantastic turnout.
It'll definitely be fun. I think it's safe to say it's going to be a fun year for Immortal come 2022.
Yeah, we got some pay-per-views coming up. We're going right back on that stream. We're going to be bigger and better than we ever have. We're going to take the world by storm, and no one's going to be ready for Immortal Championship Wrestling.
Couldn't have said it better. It all gets started February 10th in St. Johnsville. As Mariah said before, you'll see such stars as Garrett Holiday in action, Bill Collier, the Sons of Allah, Edge of Hope. I'm drawing a blank now on what Adam Stone and Skyros' team name is.
Friendship. Something Friendship, which is horrible.
I think it's Team Friendship.
Team Friend, yes. It is like a SpongeBob reference that needs to die. No. That, if I would have known that before I interviewed them, that would have been even better. How did they just turn on an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants or like a kid show and go, oh, look, Team Friendship, that's perfect. We're going to get people to buy our shirts. Like, no, that's a horrible name.
And folks, also you'll see John there live in attendance representing the Ron Rose podcast, along with his I Heart Sons of Allah t-shirt.
I mean, I'm one of his wives. Like, I can't say anything. He gave me that role. I didn't even ask. He just came to me one day and said, "You're one of my wives now." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It just happens like that.
Well, considering, again, back in Cobblestone in July, John was in the corner crying crying upset because, Ben lost the title to Garrett. Just saying.
It's okay to admit you're a Ben Hameen lover. It's all right.
John
can't judge you.
John is eagerly waiting for the day to get face slapped by Ben.
Could make that happen. February 10th. I mean, you may have to pay him $20 for a $5 face slap, but you can make it happen.
I guess, John. I guess we shouldn't tell Mariah about your Ben Hameen shrine in your closet, right?
Ryan, I've told you this before. Come up with new material.
I mean, hey, at least he's not the only person in New York that prays a terrorist, kind of like the Bills' head coach.
Oh, that's a burn.
Oof.
I mean, they're only going to get their ass kicked by the Steelers, so it's all good.
Hey, please.
But, Mariah, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It means a lot.
Yeah, anytime.
I'm definitely going to have you on again. Where can the listeners find you on social media and just promote, the Inside Immortal and all that stuff?
Yep. So Inside ICW is going to take place solely on Immortal Championship's Facebook page. You can find it there. It's on an every other week upload right now because we're getting into a little bit of a rough with finding some of the older videos. Outside of that, I have a YouTube channel and everything. I will post in the comments below. So if anyone wants to go and subscribe, I kind of document my journey behind the scenes on all the shows and everything. And you can also follow me on any platform under my name, which is Mariah Kamomsli. And I upload behind the scenes stuff on there as well. So
couldn't have said it better, guys. Go subscribe. She has some great stuff. And Mariah, again, the door is always open for you to come back on whenever you would like.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I will definitely be back on.
Absolutely. Again, guys, Mariah Kamomsli, the host of Inside ICW and the backstage interviewer for Immortal Championship Wrestling.
Peace.
Have a good night. Okay. Before we get into what we were going to get into, we have to go to the comment section.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine what the comment section is like.
Because apparently, the second week in a row that people want to see me get killed.
Oh, is it the Front Row Mafia again?
No!
Who was it this time?
Zubin!
Thank you, Zubin.
He goes, I would pay to see Jon get his butt kicked. Why does everybody want me to be the one to get hurt?
That's okay. It's okay. Now you know how I feel when, everyone takes your side over mine, apparently, even on the fucking, I say the fucking truth.
Also, what's his face? Dave from the 2300 podcast is checking us out tonight.
Hey, what's going on, Dave? Give those guys a follow to 2300 Wrestling Podcast. Great guys.
Yep, I just want to go through the other comments here. My sister's chiming in.
Hi, Jan.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Oh, God, here we go.
Because, first of all, she wanted to compliment you on the perfect impression of me from before.
Thank you.
Then she said, don't know how you put up with my brother.
Jack and Coke.
Then our buddy David from across the pond says, it sounds like we're setting up Jon versus Ryan in a slap fight.
And Jon will be accompanied to the ring by a stepladder because, he'll actually have to get to my level.
To which then my sister then chimed in and said she would pay to watch that.
Wait, I got it. We'll call Dana White, you and me, in that, that slap fighting thing.
Hold on, it gets better.
God, there's more.
So which David then turns around and says he would fly across the pond to get front row seats.
Shit. Anybody else?
Again, why does everybody now apparently they want me to get chopped by Vince Steele?
Oh God.
I have a question, Ryan.
What?
Wow, Jen.
What's your question, Jonathan?
Why does everybody want me to be the one to get hurt?
I know why. I know why.
Why?
Because let's continue the show right now. With we got some stuff to talk about here. Let's see. We're talking about Immortal on February 10th. And you know what? I'm going to transition right now because here on the Around the Rose podcast, we're actually going to go to a commercial break.
Yes, we are.
Because the following week in Albany, I believe.
Yes.
Another wrestling promotion in that area, friends of the show, the Dynasty.
Hold on. Keep talking. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta go back and grab the link. Give me 2 seconds.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm hyping it up. My God.
I lost the link now, so I have to go find it. So give me 2 seconds.
1, 2. Did you find it yet?
Hold on. Before we do that. Yes, Anthony, I will be up there on Saturday. And I'm not sure yet if I'm doing a live show. More than likely, I'm not doing a live show. I'm more likely going to do a recording that will be dropped probably sometime next week as a YouTube exclusive. But I'm still finalizing all the details. We'll get to that at the end of the show tonight.
So anyway, the following week, February 17th, up in Albany, friends of the show, the Dynasty, or Dynasty Pro Wrestling. I don't know what they call themselves again.
The Dynasty.
The Dynasty. Thank you, Shmuley. They have their next event coming up, and folks, they actually gave us a commercial. And I'm not going to mention who is going to be on said card on that night. But I think the commercial will speak for itself. I don't know if John is...
Give me a second. I'm doing this all on one screen, so I have to kind of maneuver some stuff here.
I mean, you had the link up earlier. What happened?
It took itself out for some reason.
Oh, when you had the issue when you got knocked out.
Yep. So just give me 30 seconds here.
Well, while he's waiting on that, February 18th, it was just... Oh, okay, never mind that.
All right, so we got that, Ryan. We'll do what we did on...
Full screen that. John, respectfully, get the fuck off the screen.
It was all a dream.
John.
And we're back. And guys,
John,
you saw it
fucked
right.
it up, man.
No, I didn't.
I said get yourself off the screen first.
Oh, sorry.
Because I was going to lead into that. You see what I got to deal with here, folks? Just because he's the guy that created the podcast.
We'll play the commercial next hour. I'll redo it better, okay?
I had a whole intro set up, and then you kicked me off. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, we'll fix it next time. But guys, as you saw in the video, you will see, and also like to mention, a lot of those guys that you saw on that screen will be future guests on this podcast, more than likely. Including, and I can say this now, we will more than likely have the return of Chris Envy at some point. We will have the return of your friend Billy at some point. And we'll more than likely have one of the commentators come back on. I'm not sure which one yet. But, Ryan, I actually have a question for you.
What?
The guy who was the big reveal in that one.
You mean the one I was supposed to fucking introduce and you just ruined it?
Let's move on. Isn't he going to be somewhere else like a couple weeks beforehand?
Yes. Jay Lethal is going to be back home at Ace Pro Wrestling in Teaneck, New Jersey as they present Hero Celebration, a night where we honor our hero, Mike Morgan Jr. Also featured on the card is the Bayonne Badass, Danny Moff.
And tickets, I think, are on sale already.
Yeah.
And, guys, it's going to be nice. It's the first show they're running since...
Last
November.
November 2021. Oh, no, 22.
Yeah, I would say. They didn't run in 23 at all.
Nope.
But it'll be nice to be back for them.
Oh, wait, no, they did. They did run in 23.
How come I'm drawing a blank now?
Because the last time they ran was I think the last Hero Celebration last year.
Okay, then the last one I'm remembering is the one they did, the Lethal Injection one.
Regardless.
Either way, it's nice to see Ace coming back again. And you know damn well they're going to have great action with a phenomenal ring announcer, by the way.
Who's that?
You!
Oh, I'll actually be able to introduce, Jay Lethal and not have the mic cut out on me like just now?
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're not.
Mark just said their last show was in 22.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't think they did the Hero Celebration last year.
No, you're right. They didn't.
But yeah, it'll be nice to be back at an Ace show. In addition to great wrestling, you also have great empanadas.
Oh, absolutely.
And mind you, folks, I'm on a diet right now.
It's called a cheat day.
That night, I'm just gonna sit there and go. But I'm also not gonna, I'm not gonna go overboard.
Oh, we know damn well you're gonna go for the glizzy.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Gotta stick to my reputation. But hold on. Yes, Mark, it'll be great to see you as well. But actually, Ryan, I want to ask you a question, and it's still in the combat sports area.
Okay.
You were up in the Mohegan Sun Arena this past weekend for Reality of Fighting. Tell the audience, what the experience. I know you've done it before, but how did the show go? What was the experience like? Just talk about it for a couple minutes, if you like.
So, twice a year, I go up to Mohegan Sun for Reality Fighting under the North American Grappling Association, an MMA promotion. For those that don't know, Mohegan Sun has an arena where WWE runs in. Recently, AEW Collision was in there, and a bunch of concerts were in there too. Apparently, the night after us, Sugar Ray performed there. I don't know why.
Because they can fly.
But no, it was a solid card from start to finish. One thing about Reality Fighting, they always do 2 sets of matches. They do the grappling submission part first, and then they go right into the MMA action. We had a total of 21 bouts in total. Originally, we had 22, but one of the fighters forged medical documents. Yeah.
I do have one question. I'm not trying to sound like an idiot here.
Sure.
You said that they split it up and they do half grappling and submission, and the other half is the MMA stuff. Not to sound like an idiot here, but what would make it different, though? Because isn't grappling and submission the same thing in MMA?
Yes, but at the same time, no. Because grappling and submission, it's they don't have the gloves.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Greco-Roman.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying.
Where MMA is, the MMA, like UFC, Bellator, PFL, that type.
Okay.
And it was a solid night of cards. I think we had about 6,000 people in the arena.
Yeah, didn't you tell me they sold out?
Yeah, we sold out. And the next event up there is May 11th.
Which I have a good feeling you'll be up there that one.
Oh, you're damn right I will. I already have it in my fucking calendar.
But and eventually I will come up because I actually have never experienced. I've experienced one MMA type show my whole life.
Yeah, and it was the one I was working on.
But I'm saying I've never experienced one up in Connecticut. Oh, so I wouldn't mind going back up to Connecticut again. I kind of miss it up there.
Oh, dude, it's fucking phenomenal.
But I want to get into one other thing, indie wrestling wise, before we get into what's going on in the with AEW and WWE. I know you may have mentioned this before, and I know because I know my internet's kind of been in and out right now because of the weather right now. Did you mention the Creative Pro show?
Yes. Well, I was about to, and then you got the video up and running, and then you cut the feed on me.
So go ahead, February 18th. Floor is yours.
So February 18th, Creative Pro Wrestling returns to our other home in Lynbrook, New York, called Top Guys Only, where on that night, it's the debut of former TNA World Heavyweight Champion Eric Young. Tickets actually went on sale today, actually. It's about a few hours ago. Also, it is the continuation of the Creative Pro Wrestling Women's Championship Tournament, where in one matchup, it's the Latina Spice, Nat Castle, taking on Little Mean Kathleen. And in the other semifinal, it is your homie, the Nomi, Gabby Forza, going one-on-one against the Notorious Mimi,
who actually just celebrated her birthday a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Mimi.
Also, the Creative Pro Tag Team Champions will be there. Adrenaline Express. Brian Myers will be there. Obviously, it's his company, so he'll be there. The Creator Pro champion, Aaron Rourke, will be defending the title, along with the Creator Pro television champion, the artist known as Jake Lang. The sweeper, Eddie Pavetti, will be there, and so much more of your favorite Creator Pro stars. Again, on Sunday, February the 18th, live from the Knights of Columbus in Lynbrook, New York. And, oh, yeah, some guy named Sexy Ryan will be there. So, and actually, I have a little bit of breaking news on my end.
Okay.
In regards to that other day, the day beforehand, February 17th.
Okay.
Where John will be, up at Dynasty. But I will be back on the mic once again in beautiful Bayshore, New York for Victory Pro Wrestling as they present its first event of 2024. And it's the return of the King of New York tournament.
Who's going to be on that card?
They already announced some of the participants already. The CEO of Kane Industries, Adam Kane. The Asgardian Beast, Kane Lothbrock. Making her debut, your homie in the Nobi, Gabby Forza. And so much more at Victory Pro Wrestling. Definitely give them a follow. Because, the main event is a massive 6-man, no disqualification match. 6-man tag, no disqualification. It is Jack Tomlinson, Dante Drago, and I think Jake Lang, I believe, taking on the team of Victory Pro Wrestling champion Bryce Donovan. I'm forgetting the other person, I do apologize, and the returning Bobby Orlando.
So basically, it's Creator Pro just in Victory Pro.
Pretty much. It's Creative Victory Pro.
But,
also, the VPW Tag Team Champions, the Rat Bastards, will be defending the titles. Dr. Sleep, Anthony Gangone, who I think is actually one of the participants in said tournament. The Big Boofa, Desmond Cole, will be there, and so much more, folks. Check out Victory Pro Wrestling at the new Victory Pro Wrestling page on social media. And from what I heard, they got some big plans coming up for March and April. But I'm not at liberty to discuss what.
Well, actually, while I'm going to look up the whatchamacallit here, who's in that main event for Victory Pro.
Yeah, help.
You also have to mention some of the other names who are in that tournament is Alvin Alvarez.
Oh, yeah.
A guy named Bufa Ayu.
Yes.
Will be in the tournament.
I forgot about him. Fuck.
El Magnifico is in the tournament.
Ole, El Magnifico, mi amigo, mi hermano.
Obviously, you mentioned Kane Lothbrock, Desmond Cole.
By the way, Bufa AO, some of you may know this individual. He was one half of possibly one of the more popular tag teams in the tri-state area called All Money Is Legal.
And in that main event, in a no-holds-barred 6-man tag, it is Delta House.
Nick Robles. That's the other person.
And the guy who you forgot in the other team is Shook Crew and Steven Azure.
Steven Azure. Yeah, yes. Okay.
So, yeah, it's basically Creator Pro.
Creative Victory Pro.
I would say, why don't they just do an invasion angle at this point?
How can they when both rosters work on the same fucking shows?
Good point. On paper, it's in my head, it sounded good.
On paper, yes, and in your head. But you got to look at it from an outsider perspective where, yeah.
One other thing I just want to make a quick mention here before we get into the other stuff. SPO, I think it is?
Yes.
They just announced their next show is also February 18th.
Yep, I saw that.
And did you see already who the women's title match is going to be?
Yep.
And at first, they didn't even have a graphic. At first, when they first aired it, they had the graphic from the first matchup, and it just said, rematch due to popular demand.
Well.
But let's get into what's going on, because boy, oh boy, did a lot of stuff went down in the in AEW and WWE. Before we get to that, I just noticed a comment here. Apparently, Richie Sorrentino just called you out.
I owe you $70K? Yeah. Okay. I'm not RDP, okay? I'm kidding. I love RDP. Great guy.
But let's go into AEW.
I know Richie balls. I know he is.
Oh, I know.
Definitely check out Richie Sorrentino. Great guy.
Totally agree. But let's go into what happened with AEW, because we saw a debut and another debut. Mariah May finally had her first match.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I forgot who she took on
Namanata.
What do you think of that match?
I thought it was good for what it was.
That match, honestly, you knew Queen Amanada wasn't going to win.
Yeah, I know.
That was just a way to get Mariah May a win.
And then Mariah May gets on the mic afterwards, talking, saying, the last line that she said was I had to do my debut match in New Jersey. And then the music plays, and they show the screen, and who is it? Why, it's none other than making her AEW debut, former multi-time Impact Wrestling Women's World Champion, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzp.
So what do you think about the fact that Deonna is now All Elite?
I think this is what they need in AEW for the women's division.
How do you figure?
Quintessentially, Deonna is like one of the best technical female wrestlers out there.
You and I had this discussion off air, and the one thing I will say is that when you look at Deonna there, you got Mariah May. Jamie Hayter should be coming back soon.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? Britt Baker hopefully will come back. I don't even know if she's out for injury right now.
I don't know what's going on with her, honestly.
But you get all those women back. You're starting to see Abaddon get a little bit of a push. You're starting to see other women get used. I'm going to say this right now. I think AEW's women's division jumped up a few pegs, in my opinion.
I can see it now. There's a couple of matchups I want to see. I want to see Deonna versus Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale.
I still think, by the way, one of them is turning heel.
I'm curious as to which one, though.
My guess is probably Chris.
Yeah, I think so.
They've been, and especially Chris, who does a backstage interview with a freaking lizard.
Yep, it's Iguana, actually.
Iguana. My apologies.
But no, and apparently Deonna's first feud is going to be with Toni Storm,
which she's worked with before.
Oh yeah, they both have a history. I think down at Stardom.
But what's nice, the only thing is though, and this is kind of my big gripe with them, is they are not being used in the proper. They're not being used in the proper way because I don't think they have the right person back there being in charge of that division.
Not yet.
I mentioned to you one name who I think it should be.
Yeah, we saw a vignette of hers on World's End.
I think it should. I have no issues with Serena D being the head of that women's division.
I honestly forgot that she was still part of the company.
Yeah. But no, I think she would be a perfect one. I can't really think of anybody else. I mean, yeah, you have Madison Rayne who's still there. Trying to think who.
Let's not forget the debut of the Undisputed Kingdom.
Oh yes, I love that name, by the way.
Very intriguing at what they're gonna do with that.
Well, they already showed the first cracks in the foundation.
Yeah, I know.
Which I think was the stupidest thing they could have done.
Yep.
And folks, if you know what we're talking about, in the 12-minute promo, Adam Cole turned around and said when Wardlow wins the AEW title from Samoa Joe, that he will hand it off to Adam Cole. I'm like, so you're basically telling the fans, okay, this faction will not last long, and if this faction makes it to the summer, it'll be surprising.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Okay, now let me ask you this: if you had the pencil, how would you book Undisputed Kingdom?
Well, based on what I saw, it looks like they're teasing them between them and Bullet Club Gold.
With the Acclaim. But go on.
Honestly, I have no idea. I really don't.
But now, would you book them? I mean, they're going to get booed no matter what.
Of course.
But now, would you book them in the way of, okay, you already got Bennett and Taven with the Ring of Honor titles?
Yep.
Do you try to almost reenact what WWE did with the Undisputed Era? Undisputed. That was their name, Undisputed Era.
Yep.
And because if you remember with that, you had Roddy was the North American champion. Fish and O'Reilly were the tag champs.
Yep.
Do you do the same thing with this? Have Taven and Bennett hold the ROH tag titles. Have Roddy and Wardlow hold the AEW tag titles.
No.
How would you do it?
How about Roderick Strong holding the ROH Pure title and Wardlow going for the international title?
Yeah, I can see that because also then you can kind of sprinkle in between both shows.
Exactly.
Yeah, which could then give a lot. But then what do you do?
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Roderick Strong going for TNT title.
You would put him up against Christian?
Possibly.
Or, Christian with his lackey there of Killswitch?
Which I think we're going to have him turn soon.
Oh, I hope so. I thought we were going to see that at World's End.
We all did.
I really thought we were going to see that at World's End.
Again, we all did.
But I'm very curious to see about this women's division now. I'm very curious to see. I have a lot of questions for AEW coming into the new year.
But also, I got to give them their flowers on something.
What?
The fact that they're almost sold out of Revolution.
Oh, I totally agree, and that's mainly because of the fact that Sting's last match.
I mean, the fact that I think they just announced they sold. I think over the weekend they sold almost 1,600 more tickets. Which,
let me ask you this: who do you think's his last opponent?
It's not going to be Flair. I'm calling it right now.
Who do you think?
How about the one matchup that should have been at Wembley but didn't happen? Jericho.
I could see that. However, I think a lot of that depends on what's going on with Jericho with the whole accusations.
Yeah, coming from the same guy that also stirred up the shit with when Punk had his little tirade with the muffin.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I think Nick Hausman kind of went into business for himself.
Of course.
But I just think
don't most wrestling journalists do that? You should know that, John. You're one of them.
I'm not a wrestling journalist. I'm a fan. Moving on now, because apparently something happened with Ryan's screen. But yeah, as far as with them, I mean, I'm very curious to see with what AEW does. I'm very curious to see what I'm just because I know tomorrow night they're back in Jacksonville, they're back in Daly's place, and they're doing an 8-man tag match for the what the hell just okay, I guess I lost Ryan. For the for Brody Lee. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Someone tried calling me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now.
But apparently somebody agreed with you.
Thank you.
But tomorrow night, AEW is back in Daly's place.
Oh, goody. In Jacksonville, Florida. Yay.
But they're doing the 8-man tag match they're calling it a tribute to Brody.
The most random 8-man tag I've ever fucking seen.
But it's on paper, it's going to be good.
If done correctly, honestly.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. We're also going to hear from Samoa Joe. We're also going to hear from trying to think of who else. Just stay tuned because I think AEW tomorrow is going to be good. Because especially they're in their home, it's their homecoming. But let's get to, I'm trying to think of anything else with AEW.
Nope.
Let's shoot over to WWE because, guys, we're on the road to freaking Rumble. Rumble's in 2 weeks.
There's only one thing I want to talk about with WWE.
Okay.
The potential rumor of where Monday Night Raw might be going.
Which you and I had the discussion already, and if it's true that they're going to go the route they're going.
Stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard.
Thank you. But
unless they do the smart thing of taking all the content from WWE and moving it over to Amazon.
But do they really want to do that, though?
Money talks, dude.
Yeah, apparently money talks with apparently money also talks with them possibly going to freaking Amazon. But why do you think it's the stupidest idea?
Because not many people have Amazon. But a lot of people have Peacock.
And that's been my biggest thing is you're going to basically tell somebody who's already has 5 or 6, 7 streaming services that, okay, in order to watch Monday Night Raw, you have to pay, what's Amazon now, $10 a month?
I think more than that.
So basically, and yes, Grant, I was talking to somebody about this, this at work today, and he made the point that, well, what happens if you're somebody who watches the other stuff that Amazon has? And okay, then it works out great for you. But my whole thing is, what about the people who don't watch Amazon, who now have to pay Amazon $15 a month?
Why couldn't they have just kept the WWE network?
Or simple, go to freaking Peacock. Peacock would have made a hell of a lot more sense because you have everything there already.
Yeah, but the WWE network was actually something good, and then they decided to take all of that. Like, what the fuck?
But the weird part is, WWE network is still available in other countries.
Yeah, you have to buy a VPN in order to do that.
I don't understand why they took WWE network away from us.
Well, I can tell you why. Because of the 75-year-old colostomy bag swinging Vince McMahon.
Oh, Gomez.
Yep.
But no, to me, it's just really, it makes no sense. And let's see what happens. Because like I said, folks, it's only being rumored right now. Nothing's official yet. So it's going to be curious to see if they do go to Amazon. Do they go to Peacock? It'll be very interesting to get to. But Ryan, I do want to get to one thing regarding the Rumble.
Okay.
With the matches announced already. So we got Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title. Obviously, we have the 2 Rumble matches.
Yep.
You have the main event of the Fatal 4-Way between Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles,
and Roman Reigns.
How excited, and mind you, it's only 4 matches announced. How excited are you for this pay-per-view?
I mean, the build has to kind of start going now.
They're going to start picking up, I think.
They should have done that already.
Better late than never.
Especially that they're in Tampa.
Well, the biggest thing also is the list of surprises and debuts that we can have.
Yeah, apparently someone who knows how to take an X Factor.
Yeah, I've heard that name. I've heard Cardona's name being thrown in there.
I've heard Liv Morgan make a return.
I'm trying to think, but also look at all the guys and girls from NXT who can.
Braun Breaker.
Oh, I hope to God at this point let him freaking come up to the main roster.
Please. Ilya Dragunov. Carmelo Hayes.
Hell, how about Dijak?
Nah. Maybe actually.
Here's an interesting name. Dante Kelly new viewer to the show, said AJ Lee.
I'm hearing that rumor a lot, actually.
Well, there was a video she put out with her and Punk training in the ring. And all of a sudden she goes on, I think it was Instagram, and said something to the extent of, well, we're not training, we're just, I'm retired. Yeah, sure. But it's going to be it's probably the first time I can remember in a number of years where there's a lot of intrigue going into the Rumble.
Especially when last night, I think possibly one of the best promos that WWE has done in a long time, between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Yes. Well, that's always Punk has always been good on the mic.
I'll talk about McIntyre.
McIntyre is getting better. I will say that.
Absolutely.
I will definitely say that much. He is getting better. But also, here's the funny part. You look at the Rumble this year, for the first time in in a while, you have, especially for both the men, you can say for the women too, but more the men, there's no clear-cut favorite.
I mean, there were a couple.
Okay, you got Cody. You got Punk.
That's it.
Yeah. But I can tell you right now, the Cody fans are going to get pissed off if Punk wins.
Of course they are.
Because they're going to sit there and say, you're not going to let Cody finish the story. Folks, we've said this on the show. We said this last week on the show when Rock came back. There is another pay-per-view in between the Rumble and Mania.
People keep forgetting about that.
Well, also, I think the start time is kind of why people forgetting about it.
Hey, look, it's easy for us. It's early in the fucking morning.
Yeah, but I'm just curious to see how many people would actually wake up at 4:30 or not go to sleep.
No, I'll watch it later on.
But even that, though, I mean, the fact that you have Elimination Chamber with the possibility of having Rock and Roman. A match that's been teased for how long now?
Yes. And also next week on Raw, the greatest WWE World Heavyweight Championship match will take place as Seth Rollins takes on the Jinder Mahal.
Which, by the way, did you see his response to Tony Khan's?
No, I didn't actually.
Because if you saw Collision on Saturday, Hook announced that he's making his sights clear on going after Samoa Joe.
Which I actually like.
So all of a sudden they put out the tweet, and supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, supposedly Jinder turned around and said, who the fuck is Hook? You want to talk about a riot happening? If they pull the trigger and have Jinder Mahal win the title,
they're not going to pull that shit.
Oh no, I know. I'm just being facetious here.
The Indian market's already taken care of already. They don't need to promote that shit.
No, I agree 100%. But
I think it's time to talk about one last thing before we wrap up tonight.
Yeah, go right ahead.
And I think some might say it might be a little hard to kill.
Yes.
Because, folks, if you've been living under a rock for the last 3 months, first of all, what the hell is wrong with you? Second of all, back at Bound for Glory in 2023, it was announced that Impact Wrestling, for the first time since I think 2011, will be going back to TNA Wrestling.
And I will be pulling up the card for you right now.
This weekend, this Saturday and Sunday, is the first event under the TNA Wrestling banner. All week they have been revealing to the current champions the brand new championship belts. First of all, I love the tag title belts. I love the X Division belt. I love the digital media title. Although I think it's fucking funny they need a belt extender for Tommy Dreamer. All in all, whoever designed those belts deserves a fucking raise because they came out gorgeous.
Yes, and as of now, I'm just looking at the card. There's 10 matches.
Does that include the pre-show?
Yes, there's 3 pre-show matches.
And, folks, also, if you didn't hear about what happened, who's going to be appearing this weekend? Oh yeah, Will Ospreay and the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
Well, isn't that for the tape-ins afterwards?
Yeah, for the Sunday, because Will Ospreay will be going against Josh Alexander in their rematch.
Do you want me to mention the pre-show matches as well?
Oh yeah, let's go through the card.
All right,
which again, folks, takes place on Saturday, January 13th, and that venue that they're in, fucking gorgeous.
What is that? Palms?
Yeah, the Palms.
Palms. Okay, that's what I thought.
Because also, from what I hear, they're doing a whole new entrance way, everything.
Hey, I give them props. I hope they really do something here.
I hope they bring back the tunnels.
Yes.
Remember the tunnels? Yeah.
All right, first match we got here in singles action. Rich Swann takes on Steve Maclin.
Oh. First of all, those two have been going at it for a long time. Macklin's been on a fucking roll.
I'll tell you right now, I want to see Maclin back in the title picture.
So do I.
So who do you see winning this one?
Maclin.
Okay, so we both agree on Maclin.
Next.
In tag team action, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers with Alicia Edwards takes on the team of Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian.
I think it's going to be Young and Kazarian.
Aren't they tag champs in some indie company?
I don't know.
I think they are. The only title match on the pre-show is a no DQ match.
Yes, for the digital media title.
You mean the belt extended digital media title?
Yes. And it's Dreamer against Crazy Steve, I think?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you right now, Dreamer gets the win.
Oof. I mean, he better.
I love what they're doing with him. Because in essence, what they're doing is they're using Busted Open with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So now let's get on to the main card. Obviously, we know what the main event's going to be, so save that for last.
Okay. Let's go with the first one. A 4-way tag team match.
Oh, which I think they're going to open up with this.
Oh, without a doubt, but give me 1 second. I'm trying to position it so I can put this down for a second.
For the TNA World Tag Team Championships. Go ahead, John.
You have the team of ABC, which is Chris Bay and Ace Austin, taking on the Rascals, which is a team of Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel. Taking on, I kid you not, this is their team name, Speedball Mountain.
Yes.
Mike Bailey and Trent Seven.
Yep.
Versus the grizzled young vets of Zach Gibson and James Drake. Now, Ryan, my first question to you is this. I asked you this offline. Out of all those names I've read, how many of them have you worked with?
7 out of 8.
And the one you haven't worked with was Trent, right?
Yep. But yeah, holy shit. This was a tough one because ABC has been on a roll as of late.
That's who I'm going with.
I think they retain. I think they really do. Those two have been on fire since they teamed up together.
Now, here's a tough question. Who eats the pin?
Rascals.
You think so?
I think so. And that way those two can continue their rivalry probably into their next big 4 pay-per-view of Rebellion.
Yes, isn't that in April?
Yeah. Which, if that's the case, I thought of a perfect match for that.
Which one?
Well, 2 matches, actually. Ladder match.
Okay.
Or Ultimate X.
Ooh. Well, speaking about another match that's going to do wonders, singles action as Josh Alexander takes on, would you consider him a free agent still?
Yes.
Alex Hammerstone.
Oof.
Who do you think gets this one?
Alexander is on a roll, and I have a feeling that they're going to put him back in the title picture soon.
I wonder if this is the match that they have where they announce that he signed with TNA.
Oh, I'm more than likely.
I'm going to agree with you about Hammerstone, but here's my theory behind it. Josh is Teflon at this point. A loss here isn't going to hurt him.
Right.
A win for Hammerstone is basically going to put him on the trajectory to the top of TNA. So it's going to definitely be something to watch out for. But let's keep things moving here. As now we have, speaking about Ultimate X, we're going to have the Knockouts Ultimate X match to determine the number one contender for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. As we will have Giselle Shaw, Zaya Brookside, Jody Threat, Tasha Steelz, Alicia Edwards, and Danny Luna.
I'm going to pick multiple picks on this one. I'm picking either Tasha Steelz or Jody Threat.
I'll be honest right now, I've never seen Jody Threat yet.
Jody Threat is more based out of Canada. She's very well known in a promotion called Alpha One Wrestling, which is run by Ethan Page.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give 2 for this one as well. I agree with you about Tasha. What about Giselle Shaw?
Maybe.
I think it's gonna be one of them too. We actually spoke about this gentleman earlier tonight in singles action as Dirty Dango with Alpha Bravo and Oleg Prudis.
Okay.
Takes on some guy who's not a human, but he's a monster in PCO.
I call that a bathroom match. I hate to say that.
With the matches that I have coming up, unfortunately, I agree with you. I think this would be the bathroom match.
I mean, no disrespect towards both of those gentlemen. That's just a very, very odd mismatch.
I think Dirty Dango, but with a screwy finish.
I think so too.
Which, by the way, Oleg Prudis, obviously people may remember him as what the fuck was his name?
Vladimir Kozlov.
The picture I've seen of him now, and you're gonna laugh who I equate him to.
Oh.
He might as well be a jacked up version of Billy Fetsky.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that too.
Huh?
I can see that.
Now, for the TNA X Division title.
This is gonna be match of the fucking night right here. I'm calling it right now.
Chris Sabin, Chris Sabin, El Hijo del Vikingo, and Kushida.
El Hijo del Vikingo.
And Kushida.
Fuck.
Who wins?
Sabin retains.
I'm just going to say the fans win.
Well, yes, said that. Sabin retains and pins Kushida. Maybe might even see Chris Sabin turn heel.
But is he the only one of Motor City Machine Guns to turn heel?
Well, we'll get to that when we get to the match.
Now, for the Knockouts Women's title, Trinity will be taking on Jordynne Grace.
I'm feeling that Jordynne Grace is going to win, but I'm going to throw a massive wild card in here.
Okay.
We see a debut.
Oh.
Someone who knows a thing or two about Monet.
You think she comes to TNA?
Maybe.
Well, didn't they say there's going to be Worlds Collide?
And also they have like the biggest signing in TNA wrestling history, making their debut at Hard to Kill.
Yeah, we all know who it is.
Oh yeah, Shane McMahon.
No, say Goldberg.
Oh God.
Oh my God. What? Oh my God. What's Goldberg doing in the Impact Zone?
Oh God. But no, they said they have their biggest signing in Impact Wrestling and TNA wrestling history coming. Some are saying it's the biggest signing since when Christian Cage debuted. back in 2005.
Yes, Mark, we have been hearing that as well, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Last match we got here for the TNA World Championship. Alex Shelley takes on Moose.
First of all, Moose has been on a roll.
Also, I'd like to mention this is Moose's Feast or Fired World Title match.
Yep.
Do we walk out of this show with a new World Heavyweight Champion?
If they really want to pull the trigger, Alex Shelley wins, but it's a double turn.
Moose turns face, Shelley turns heel?
Correct.
Actually, I wouldn't mind. I'll be honest. I don't think I remember ever seeing a heel Motor City Machine Gun.
They started making their rounds a little bit out here on the indie scene.
As a heel?
Yep.
I also have the perfect way you can push him being a heel.
How?
Do the old line of, blame the fans.
Of course.
That's the easiest way to do it. You can have Alex Shelley turn around and go, oh, you guys only cheer for us when we have titles on us. You can go that route. But last question I got for you, then we're going to wrap up with this.
Yep.
We just went through all the matches for Hard to Kill. When we come back live next Tuesday, what match are you saying will be the match of the night?
Match 1 through 10.
Actually, it would be 3 through 10. 1 through 3 were the pre-shows.
I know.
Because I'll tell you right now who I think it's going to be.
The exhibition match.
That's me. I think this will be the match of the night.
Oh, yeah. Either that or the tag team title match.
Yeah, I can see one of those two.
Then again, the Ultimate X match will do really well too, especially with people like Zaya and Danny on it too.
That's what I like though with this type of show. There's really one filler match.
Unfortunately, it's PCO and Dango.
Unfortunately, but Ryan, I'm actually going to try something a little bit different here. Bear with me 1 second. Ryan, I'm going to let you. Nope, not doing that. Nope, not doing that. There we go.
Okay. What am I doing?
What do you got coming up, and where can people find you on social media?
Hey, you got my info right. Well, I mean, you got the Instagram thing wrong. Actually, no. Hey, that's right. That's right. Good job.
I can do something right.
So, coming up, it's not announced officially, but in a couple of weeks, I have a live Cap TV taping in Hicksville, New York. It's a free event. Make sure to follow our social media pages. February 3rd, back at Ace Pro Wrestling for the first time in almost a year with Hero Celebration, where John will be sitting in the corner sucking on a glizzy. I'm kidding. February 10th, I was supposed to be at Immortal, and then ... But I'll be back up there in the future. But I may be working I may have something in the line for that. February 17th, I'm back with Victory Pro Wrestling as they present the King of New York tournament from Bayshore. The following day, Creative Pro Wrestling with Eric Young in the continuation of the Women's Championship tournament. Folks, if you're a fan of WrestlePro, February 1st is their next Shotgun Thursday night. I'm not sure if I will be in attendance, but I highly recommend checking it out because it is the main event for that card. For the WrestlePro Women's Championship, it'll be the new champion, Lana Cross, going one-on-one against the former champion, the person that she defeated back at Full Steam Ahead, the event that I was at, Lady Frost. So definitely check out WrestlePro Shotgun Thursday night. And, speaking of February 17th, I don't know if John has it set up yet because, John, loses the link. So our friends at Dynasty Pro Wrestling has an event up in Albany. And obviously we saw it earlier on that, as you saw earlier. But you know what? We're going to play that one more time. So, John, take it away.
I'm going to take you off screen.
Fine.
It was all a dream.
That's right, folks. Jay Lethal will be in action at the Dynasty's next event. And also, Jay Lethal will be at Hero Celebration a couple of weeks prior with Ace Pro Wrestling. You can follow me at Twitter at Ryan_MC92. That is me. And Instagram, you can follow me at, my name or at Wrestling MC. And Facebook, it's, just my name and this ugly mug here. Let's see what else I have in store. March 16th. March 16th is tentative. I might be someplace, where I could be immortalized or I could be victorious. Or if things really work out well, maybe I can go somewhere big. A little bit of a teaser there. But, follow my social media pages, folks, for more details. John, you're up.
So I'm going to put myself on full screen.
Okay. Boo! I'm like, yay!
Guys, that's where you can find me on all social media. Just look for this pretty face and you'll see me. Obviously, I will not be working any shows because I'm not a worker. I'm a fan. You see, Ryan, I said it that way. You're welcome.
Yes, you are a fan. If only some people knew. If only some people caught the hint.
Yes. But I will be, actually, this coming weekend, I will be going up to the UWE tape-ins. Like I said, to do a recording. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be live or recording. That, just stay tuned for my social medias for that. Next week, I'll be down at Bree Combination for their first show of the year with the mega main event, or at least I think it's going to be the main event, of the All-Father Darius Carter, Dr. Sleep Anthony Gangone, teaming up to take on the team of Jay Bougie and Face. So that's going to be a good one. Obviously, we have the Royal Rumble coming up afterwards. I will be attending the Ace show on February 3rd. I will be at Immortal on the 10th, Dynasty on the 17th. You just look, just see this humongous head. You'll know it's me. But again, guys, like I said, let me just take that off for a second. Let me bring Ryan back on. But guys, like I said, it's going to be, we have a lot of stuff coming up. Also stay tuned because there might be a graphic coming out tomorrow with a certain little podcast doing a post show down in Philly.
And also someone announcing the shows.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, you notice how you put the podcast on first before, something. Anyway.
Just stay tuned. If you follow RexFest, there might be some news coming out of which Ryan and I are going to be involved in said show. And no, guys, it will not be the slap fight that everybody wants to have happen between us.
No, that's going to take place during WrestleMania 41 weekend.
Yes, because apparently we're going to Minnesota.
Oh, yes, we're going to Minnesota, don't you know?
But again, guys, I appreciate everybody who watched. I want to thank Mariah for joining us. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, just go to the link in the comment section below. It's there. And guys, like I said, I appreciate everybody who watched tonight. For Ryan, I'm John. We will catch you guys next Tuesday live right here on the new ATR Network. Hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. Follow us on all social media accounts. And again, guys, hit the subscribe button. Catch you guys next week.